Greetings, beloved light warriors. It's Saratoga, and this is your weekly focus card reading for the week beginning March the 8th through March 14th, 2021. And if you're new to my channel, this is something I do every Sunday so that we can reset our focus and our energy for the coming week ahead. And then I do my on-camera videos on Tuesdays and Fridays. Okay, so let us look at this most beautiful card. This card says gold at the top. It says divine intervention. God sends miracles to answer sincere prayers. Now, before I get into the actual reading for all of us, I want to mention that if any of you guys want to take a personal message from this card that you feel is specifically tailored to your situation, always feel free to do that. Because I'm going to be speaking about it in a much broader context, but you can certainly feel free to take from this card your own personal message if you find that that is something that's meaningful for you. All right, so let me talk about the context that I'm going to talk about this card in. Let's talk about it in the context of Earth's evolution and our ascension process. So, I think what we're all looking for is divine intervention in our situation here on this planet. Because the problem that Earth has always had is isolation. Human beings are creators. We are meant to co-create Earth's ascension and evolution with this universe, with the higher forces of light, love, and nature in this universe. But here's where we get stuck, okay? We get stuck at the level of, well, let's look at the word prayers. What are we praying for? Because you see, the universe has an abundance of miracles, and I want to point out that that gold is a wonderful color on this card, because gold signifies abundance, high vibration, powerful white light at the highest possible level. It's just a beautiful, beautiful metal. And so at any rate, let's go back to what I was saying about prayer. So the universe has an abundance of answers, solutions, possibilities. We're not aware of hardly any of them, okay? Here's where we get in trouble in terms of what we pray for. So in terms of, for example, Earth's ascension process, what is the typical thing that we human beings do in the modern world of the internet and social media? What we do, we go on the internet, which is AI. We go on the internet to get all of our answers about ascension and our spirituality. There's nothing wrong with that, you guys, because obviously there's a lot of good information, there's bad information, and there's in-between information. It's up to us to discern what resonates with our hearts, what rings true for us in our most natural state of being. So what we do is we get all this information from the internet. That's all fine, but let me share with you a little secret of how we can mess ourselves up. A lot of times we interpret that information to be, that's it. There's nothing else. That is all there is. Those are all the possibilities, and there's nothing else that's possible. So then we might start praying for those things that we heard about online to happen for our planet. And then we look and we say, oh my gosh, it's not happening. Okay, it's not happening. What does that mean? And then we can end up in a state of hopelessness, depression, despair, whatever. I want to give you guys a completely different way to look at this. Okay, when you're talking about prayer, what we pray for and the conditions that we place on those prayers is absolutely going to determine any possible response that we can receive. So a lot of times when we pray very conditionally. So for example, let's say you heard something online about this is how Ascension's supposed to work. This is how the planet's whatever is supposed to work. So then you pray for that to happen. But what if the condition that you have for that to happen does not make what you're desiring possible? You're not going to get an answer. A lot of times when our prayers are not answered, it's because of the conditions that we place on those prayers. Okay? Now, sincere prayer is very, very significant. What does that mean? What does sincere mean? There are degrees of sincerity. It's not meant to be a judgment. It is really about alignment. How deeply aligned are you with the truth of your heart when you pray? I'm going to share with you guys the most significant reason that this planet and the people on it struggle so much to evolve. It is because we want answers at the same time that we validate the existence of suffering. If you're going to validate the existence of suffering, if you're going to find ways to tell yourself that it's spiritually good, positive, and all this stuff that we've been telling ourselves on this planet collectively for thousands and thousands of years, if you're going to maintain that position, there's not going to be a whole lot that the universe can do to help you. Okay? There'll be some, that's true. You might find some relief from the suffering, but you're not going to find what is really needed for the ascension of this planet. So we're not even standing on solid ground in our prayers for this earth, because we have way too many compromises, way too many conditions, way too many demands that it unfold in a very specific way. And what we need to do is we need to be willing to let go of that, because we do not know what is possible. This universe, there are no words to describe the magnitude, the size, the gargantuan nature of just this one universe. There are no words, okay? There are no concepts in our languages to adequately represent what is there. And not only what is there in our universe, but what is beyond it. But if we insist on praying and asking for things that are so limited, that are so tight, that are so it has to be this way, if that isn't possible, given our situation, we're not going to see a response that is powerful enough to make the difference that we say we want. Okay, now you can apply this to the entire planet, and you can also apply it in your own life. Because a lot of times we do that individually, right? We pray for something and we don't get an answer, and we think, oh, God doesn't hear me, or the universe doesn't care, or, the angels aren't listening to me. Why is no one responding to my prayers? Well, it is probably the same thing. Because a lot of times, to get a powerful answer, to get those miracles that this card is referring to get those miracles, you might actually have to be willing to change in some way. And many times human beings on this earth are just not willing to change. It's kind of like, I want stuff, but don't ask me to change anything. So if you ever have prayed for something and you're not receiving an answer and you're feeling kind of lost, then what you can do is ask yourself, is there something about myself, my life, my situation that I'm just not willing to change? Because that might actually be the sticking point. See, there's no such thing as a prayer that is not heard. Every single prayer is heard. We have a direct connection to the universe, to the divine, to that source that sustains us and keeps us alive. We are always, always connected. But we tend to close ourselves off with our concepts, our beliefs, our demands, what we want to believe, what we're not willing to let go of, things like that. So I really want to suggest this to you guys because I know there's a lot of people that are feeling very discouraged right now, feeling a lot of despair, feeling hopeless. I don't feel hopeless at all, you guys. I honestly don't. I really don't. I really think our biggest problem is that we get so stuck in our concepts and beliefs, and we get so stubborn about how we think this is supposed to unfold. And if it doesn't happen our way, we're just devastated. That's what we need to stop, you guys. We just need to take a deep breath, come back to our center, come back to our hearts, because we can make a sincere request. I am pretty sure that every human heart at its core does not want to see any more suffering on this planet. Does not, and that's not just human suffering. I'm talking about the animal kingdom, the plants, and the actual planet itself. I'm pretty sure that probably every human heart, that is the core desire. So if you feel like you resonate with that idea, then I would suggest you ask yourself if you're willing to give up any belief that you might have that we need suffering. We gotta have it because it's the only thing that motivates us to evolve. It's the only thing that makes us appreciate positive experiences. Let me say one more thing, you guys. We do not need suffering to appreciate positivity. That is not true. It might be true, it appears to be true in this dimension of duality, but it is absolutely false in what I call the real world, which exists completely outside of this universe. Okay? And there's no way to know what that feels like when you're looking through a filter of duality like we do on this earth. But it is absolutely false to say that the only way that one can experience love is they need the contrast of hate. The only way that one can experience and appreciate health and vitality is they have to have an experience of sickness as a contrast. It's not true, you guys. I'm telling you, it's not true. Okay? It's an illusion created by this dimension of duality. It's a complete falsehood to say that. And here's why it traps us. And I didn't know why I'm going on like this. Maybe this is something everybody needs to hear. But this is how we get trapped in the situation we're in such a way that we just cannot find our way out of it. There's absolutely a way out of this situation. There's no question there's a way out of it. 100% certainty. Okay? But we ourselves have got to make some changes in how we look at things. Okay, so I know I kind of went on a lot about that, but this card really inspired me to just say a few things that maybe need to be said. So let me just complete this. Divine intervention is available to us at every single moment. It is always available. So we don't need to think, we don't need to tell ourselves we're not being heard, oh, there's no answers. None of that is true, you guys. None of it is true, okay? So just come back to center, clear your clear your heart, clear your mind. Just let yourself be. Be in as natural a state as you can possibly be in. Let your human nature, what can I say, just fill you. And from that place, take the time, have some patience, go within your heart. Find the most pure, sincere place within you that you can possibly find. And from that place, start fresh. Ask for what it is that you really want, not what you think you're supposed to want, not what you've been told you need to want, but what do you really want from your deepest, most heartfelt sense of self. Okay, so I think that's all I'm going to say about this card. Boy, that certainly brought a lot out, didn't it? yeah, I think I'm just going to let it go at that. And as I said, if you guys have any other ideas that you want to interpret through this card, you should absolutely feel free to do so. And I'm going to let it go at that. I hope that has given you a lot of food for thought, hopefully some inspiration. And I'm wishing you guys a beautiful week of peace, serenity, and the utmost level of clarity in your life and in your experience. And I'm sending you all so much love. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Take good care of yourselves, love yourself, be kind, and have a beautiful week. Namaste, everyone.